All right. Welcome to the 4 Men Over 50 show with eyeglasses and everybody. Yeah.
That's about
it. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the hot corner, everybody. And this is where we team up Sunday nights with Giant Sports Talk Live and NorCal Sports Network, where we talk Giants baseball. And it was a lot of fun up until the last couple of days.
Yeah, ain't that the damn truth?
So we'll try to get through this and see where this goes. They're down to 19 games. And, well, hey, welcome, everybody. How's it going?
Good.
Rough couple of games baseball-wise, but we went a little late tonight because we were watching Sunday Night Football. And what a heck of a game that was. But today, not so good in St. Louis.
No,
not so good.
Playing the Blues, as I put on the thumbnail. St. Louis Blues. It sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a rough one. And the Mets lost, so we've had a chance to gain 2 games in the last 2 days, and they could be 2 out, but they're 4 out with technically 5 because of the tiebreaker with 19 to go. The Mets still have a very tough schedule. They got the Phillies.
It ain't getting easier.
They've got the Padres. They've got the Rangers. They've got the
Cubs.
They got 4 playoff teams that are fighting.
Marlins play them hard every time.
So the Mets only have 3 games against the Nationals that you might say that are somewhat easier on their schedule, but nothing easy.
No pitching.
Yeah, they got no pitching.
Speaking of pitching, Glenn Kei Wei Young, he went 4.
Tell the boys what I said in the before we went on tear. It was just you and I logged in first. Tell them what I said.
Yeah, look, I think everyone's going to agree with this. Bob Melvin, there's 2 guys who screwed this game up today. Bob Melvin and Jung Hoo Lee. Bob Melvin, he needs to manage this game like it's a playoff game. He has to. Look, man, we're down to 20 games, and you got to go out there and you got to win these. And knowing that Kei Wei Teng may, be at the end of the rope, so to speak, as far as his endurance, he should have had that bullpen ready to go. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was a shame because after that second walk, those first 2 walks were on 8 pitches.
Yeah,
he didn't throw 1 strike. Alarm bells should be ringing. Come on, what's going on here? You got to manage the team like, hey, you got to win every damn game, and he was a day late and a dollar short.
Well,
you know what else? Does anybody, and it's not the first time today, or it's not the first time I've seen this happen, guys. What is it with the Giants deciding to, we talk about some of the strengths. Maybe the strengths aren't on the bench anymore. They're actually on the field, because what the hell are they doing sending up a pinch hitter named Bailey? Talk about a wasted at bat. I don't get it.
That's something we could talk about.
I don't get it. He ended the game today. And again, it's another situation. As soon as he came up with a runner at first, I said to my better half, I said, that's the ball game. That's it. It's over. And sure enough, double play ball. He comes through once in a while, but once in a while it shouldn't give you a major league job. Not once in a while.
Yeah. You think about this. You mentioned, Eric, that you got to manage like it's a World Series. You remember Game 7, 2014. I think it was Tim Hudson that got the start. And then second, third inning, Jerry Atfield coming in. But he was ready to go. He wasn't like, oh, if he gets in trouble, maybe I'll get somebody up. No, he had somebody up ready to go. Kei Wei Teng had pitched 4 really good innings. But you also know he's probably not going much more than 5. So why not have somebody
ready to go?
You don't have to get firing. You just start playing catch, get that arm loose, walk the first guy. Okay, pick it up a little bit more.
Yep, step it up.
Walk the
second guy. Yeah, but how long
guy.
would you have gone, Dan? I said, Eric, once he got through 3, I thought 4, you were flirting. I thought that should have been the end of the rope. That should have been it.
After the second walk, because
yes,
he's a young guy, and then he walked the third guy, and then he gives up a hit. But the second guy, if you would have had somebody up, then you could have taken your time. You could have walked out slowly, or you could have had Bailey go out. Bailey could go out and then walk back. Then you walk back out, and then
Shades of yesterday all over again.
You call for the bullpen because, Teng pitched a very good 4 innings. He just ran out of gas. Obviously, he couldn't find the plate. He wasn't anywhere close. Exactly.
And to dovetail, Glue, you made some great comments on Marty's show earlier. Bruce Bochy, right? You're because Dan, that's what you're alluding to. What Bruce Bochy did in Game 7 of a World Series. You mentioned, Bob Melvin is no Bruce Bochy. Can you expound on that a little bit, Lou? Oh, you're muted. You're muted, Lou.
What, is everyone having problems tonight? There you go.
He had Adfelt ready just in case, knowing a situation. I think this is a characteristic of Melvin. This is not the first time. He's always a batter too much. He's always a batter short. I think, we are spoiled because we had Bochy, who probably worked the bullpen better than anybody. I think Melvin's one of the all-time worst when it comes to the bullpen. Now, I might be a little biased because I saw how it's supposed to be done with Bochy, but this has probably happened half a dozen, maybe 10 times this season, where Melvin either tries to get these guys a win, so he keeps them in too long. It's always an extra batter. The other thing that pissed me off today is everybody in America, see, Teng didn't have it after the second walk. He still didn't have anybody warming up. Then what does he do? He gets Buto going. Buto wasn't even warmed up when he bought him, and it was like desperation.
Well, you said
that's the problem with Melvin. Is it's so obvious he has no clue what he's doing. Now, it's not always him. You also got to blame the pitching coach because that's their job too. But, this is something that's happened. And, when you really look at it, it's probably cost the Giants on the season. I'll be gracious, 6 wins. If the Giants didn't lose all 6 and they just won 3 of them, we're almost a playoff team. The other thing is horrible way because St. Louis has not been hitting at all. Yesterday, when Melvin blew it, that guy was 1 for his last, I believe, 34. Or 0 for 24, but 1 for his last 34. And the guy gets a double. Remember yesterday, even if they were only down 3 runs, they could have been down 5 runs. What's his name wasn't getting anybody out. But, that's you live and die sort of with his management. I thought today was really a really horrible, horrible loss. If you thought yesterday was bad, today was maybe twice as bad because it's 1 less game on the season.
Yeah.
The Mets lost. And you guys are all talking, we're going to catch the Mets. We're going to catch the Mets. How about the Reds in front of us? You guys keep forgetting the Reds are in front of us. We're lucky the Cardinals that Arizona got beat today, or they would have been in front of us. True. And what this does is this makes now the next 3 games huge too. I mean, Giants almost have to at least go 2 out of 3 or sweep, because if they go 2 out of 3, I mean, if they get taken 2 out of 3, and especially tomorrow if they lose Monday night with their ace, the season's over. There is no rest of the season, and now you come to a point where we have literally 13 games against teams that are right with us. The Dodgers just came off one of the worst road trips, horrible losses, but listen, they don't care. They're in the playoffs. They're battling, and when they come this weekend for us, they don't care. They could lose 20 straight. When they come to us, they'll be ready to play. I just don't know, are we going to be, ready to play?
I agree with Lou. And Eric, what do you think? And it's not just the pitching, okay? I don't think it's just the pitching. In all aspects of the managerial role, I think Bob Melvin, he's not very aggressive.
That's fair. Seems kind of passive. Yeah, a little bit. And the problem is, and to your point, you were talking about having Patrick Bailey coming in. I understand maybe for defense, but as a pinch hitter, man, that's probably really not the guy to go to.
It's been done, and
I know. And here's the thing too, to come off Melvin a little bit, because yes, he was at fault for why the Giants didn't win, or I should say partially at fault. Jung Hoo Lee today, man, he's been hitting the ball pretty damn good, multi-hits all over the place. But today, I don't know what happened, especially the one at bat. There was 1 out Bases are loaded. Giants are rallying. And look, and you could see it. Even the 5th inning, even though the Giants didn't do anything, you could see Gray was losing it. He lost it. He just ain't having the Giants had to jump on it, and they did in the 6th inning. Bases are loaded. You coming up to bat, and he looks at called strike 3 right down the middle. There was like 2 or 3 pitches that were just right down the middle, and he was just watching them. And you can't do that. You got to put the ball in play. Now, that being said, you don't want to hit him into a double play because he has a tendency to do that. But he needs to put the bat on the ball. And he did it at the very end of the game, right? In the 9th inning, he had 2 on, had a chance to go out there and do something. I think he got the count to 3-2. And then that last strike, man, he was just freaking swinging out of his ass trying to make contact, and he just didn't. And the Giants weren't able to capitalize on putting some more runs on the board. So those are the 2 guys that just didn't do it for me today. And you could say that they're the reason why the Giants lost.
It's got to be a team effort, though, Eric. You can't blame any given guy on any given day. I mean, it's like saying now at this point in the season, if you need a home run, a big home run late in the game, and Adames doesn't hit one. Well, look what he's done all year. So yeah. I don't like to put blame on a single game, on a single player, but it's the execution on a regular basis. One thing I have liked, Dan, this week, and I've said it to Eric on our show, the success. I think the way you breed success in this team is simply get the bat on the ball and cut down, as they've done this week, on those strikeouts. Made a big difference.
They're not striking out.
Definitely. Hey, guys, you know what's interesting? I'm just looking this up. The Cincinnati Reds beat the Mets 4-2 in the season series. Today was the deciding game for who wins the series. So the Reds are really only 4 out. They're truly 4 out, where the Giants are 5 back of the Mets because of the tie break. So if the Mets and Reds tie, the Reds get the tiebreaker. So the Mets got to be feeling pretty. I mean, the Reds got to be feeling pretty decent right now. I'm looking at their schedule going forward. They have to go to San Diego for 3.
Not gonna be easy.
No. Then they go up to Sacramento for 3. This is a long road trip. They got a 9-game trip. Then they go to St. Louis. Then they come back home and finish 3 with the Cubs and 3 with the Pirates. Wait a minute. Do they have a makeup game? Oh, no. 3 with they got 3 with the Cubs, 3 with the Pirates, and 3 with the Brewers. Now the Brewers may be playing for nothing at that point, because if they clinch the number 1 overall best record, all they're probably doing is lining up their pitching staff for, the postseason. So we'll see. But some tough games there for the Reds. Not easy to play in San Diego, not easy to play in Sacramento. Giants saw how St. Louis, but you got to give the inside shot still to the Mets. The Giants now, based on what's happened here the last 2 days, it's always been too little too late, but they're 72-71 now, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, 72-71. They basically have to win 14 of the last 19 and hope the Mets lose like 10.
I tell you what, there's
11.
more chance of the Mets losing than the Giants winning that many.
Probably.
Because the Mets pitching, look what they did. Yeah. Kodai Senga, they had an option. That's one of their aces. Look, if we had to send down Robbie Ray, right?
Yeah.
It's done. The only thing that's keeping them alive is that they just have a better lineup. Because the Mets, look, even if they get in the playoffs, they ain't lasting very long. They're just
the
not.
Mets. Yeah, the Mets will have to win by the slugfest. Orange Man says, and this is what I was thinking too, Matos pinch hitting for Lee in the 7th since he was facing a lefty. The one thing about Lee's at bat with bases loaded, that was in the 7th, right? Bases loaded, 1 out, and he strikes out. Did he take a pitch,
6th.
strike 3?
Yeah, that's 6th.
6th inning.
Yeah, you're talking about Jung Hoo Lee's?
Yeah, he took
Oh, yeah,
called
here,
strike
I'll bring
three.
it up. I'll show you.
You
Oh, that's
got
horrible.
to put the bat on the ball. I mean, ball in play probably ties
This
the
is so
score.
bad. This is so bad. Look at that.
All three of them.
Pretty sweet.
All called.
Called strike, called strike, called strike.
They can't do that.
You know what they called that? They call that in Saturday Night Live, not ready for prime time.
Yeah, you can't do that. And
Not
he's a
ready
good
for-
hitter, right? He's been hitting the
Yeah.
ball well. You can't do that.
He looked like he was either totally lost up there, that he didn't see, couldn't pick up the ball at all, or he was just like the moment was too big for him. I don't know, one of the two, because you can't take 3 called strikes with bases loaded.
Correct.
Yeah.
Just can't do it, man. You can't. And one good thing, hey, I tell you what, the defense has been playing pretty well. I know they had an error today. I can't remember where it was, but how about Schmidt at second base? Fielded that ball, right, from his ass through a seed to first base and was able to get the run. I think that was in the 9th inning, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it was, because they led off with a double, and then he was able to prevent that run from scoring. So the defense has been there. The pitching has been okay. Today was okay. It just sucks, man. It sucks that the Giants had opportunities. You got the Mets, who lost both days, had a chance to climb in those standings, and now their back is against the wall, man. I tell you, it's not going to be easy. If anything, hey, how about this? At the minimum, how about we spoil it for the Dodgers? I'm okay with that. Knock the Dodgers out of the freaking NL West. I'll be a happy man.
Yeah,
Hey,
let the Padres win.
Guys, can I just say one thing? I know we've been talking about the pitching. I think we need to really specify more about the hitting. In the last 5 innings yesterday, the Giants got 3 hits. Okay. And remember, Cincinnati didn't have great, St. Louis didn't have great pitching. Today, if you take the 6th inning out, they got 2 hits. So now you're talking about basically 13 innings, and we're getting 5 hits on the road. You're not going to win when you only get 5 hits. If you remember, the Giants had the lead yesterday.
They coming to get you, Lou? Bad boy.
Bad boy. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?
Somebody's watching me.
Basically, that means, that's a problem. So in 13 innings against, now I admit Sonny Gray was good probably the first 3 or 4 innings, but you could see he sort of lost it. But you can't win with only 5 hits and basically, 13 innings. Where's the offense? And I think the one problem with the Giants is they're living and dying by the home run ball. So if they're not getting the home run ball, they're not putting anything together. And against, really, when you look at St. Louis, Sonny Gray's last 3 starts, his ERA was like 6. I mean, he had the no today through 5. I sort of thought maybe, oh my God, here go the Giants, especially after a tough L. But they got to get back on the hitting. Now they're going to come back home where the ball doesn't fly. They're playing tomorrow night. It's going to be overcast. They're going against a pitcher who's actually they've never seen before. So you know how the Giants are when they've never seen a pitcher. And the guy's pretty decent. So, if I'm Webb, I think I'm going to have to pitch, probably a 3-game, 3-hit shutout, or the Giants might lose. And if the Giants lose with Webb pitching, it's like a double whammy. Another thing in the standings, someone's now going to go against us, and we don't get Webb now and, for another 5 days. So I know
you bring up a good point, Lou, about the hitting, because this is a concern, and I want to bring up this comment. Playoffs. All this talk is diverting the Giants from building a sound long-term base. They rebuild in fits and starts. Yes, this is what I've been saying. This is one of the things that really disturbs me, and what I'm really was the one thing I didn't want the Giants to do was come up with this teasing plan that looks like, okay, hey, we really did play well down the stretch. We're there. We're really a playoff team. We just ran out of time, guys. We're going to run it back, and we're going to bring Melvin back, and we're going to just do the whole thing again, when the problem, like Lou said, is this is a boom or bust team with the long ball. They do not do lots of rallies. They've had a few on this winning streak, which is nice, but predominantly it has been the home run ball that has curtailed them to this, previously 11 and 12. They hit a home run in every stinking game they won, right?
18 games straight.
18 straight. What did they win out of those 18? 14 or 15 of them? Something like that.
It was nuts.
So they don't hit a home run in the last 2 games, and guess what? They lose both. And I don't know. I didn't look at the box score today. How many was the strikeouts?
Strikeouts
11.
today for the Giants, 11. Yep.
Okay, so they're back. Yeah, this is what they do. And it's tough to sustain winning baseball because if you live by it's kind of like the Warriors. They live by the 3 and they die by the 3. And if the Warriors are hitting their threes, they're going to win. And if not, they're going to lose a lot. And the Giants, if they're not hitting the home runs and getting good pitching along with it, they're going to lose because they don't score runs by, what we call manufactured runs where,
Right.
you move the man over, you bunt. They do it occasionally. It's going to happen. I'm not saying they never do it, but this team's not made up of that. It's made up of guys that have swing and miss. And when they miss, they strike out 11 to 13 times. When they
but Dan, there's still a lot of guys who love that. I know there are in our chat. I can't speak for Eric, but I don't like it. I would rather watch a ball club that manufactures and bunts and steals bases. That's why I've always
gets a home run now and then too. Yeah, but
but I want to see an all-around game, not just get up there and slug.
Yeah, that's why you need more guys that make contact.
I got a feeling. Well, I think that's the direction I think Buster Posey's going. Look what he's done, right? In the draft, high contact, low strikeout guys. In the trade deadline, high contact, low strikeout guys. Look at that Jesus Rodriguez. I see on the fence Posey. 100%. He got kids batting 354 and freaking AAA.
Doing well.
He's doing well. Now, the problem is where we're supposedly his catching isn't all that great. Maybe he's still only 23, but he's been in the minor leagues for quite a while. I think he's been in the minor leagues, 4 or 5 years, something like that. It might even be more than that. But the guy he's a career 311 minor league hitter. So he
hits.
He's got something. Again, maybe you need to bring him up. Maybe you need to see what he looks like. I don't know where you would play him because, again, DH, we got a lot of DHs. But in the offseason, I got a feeling Buster Posey is going to go after someone that's high contact, low strikeout. That's probably – he's telling us. He's right. He's told us what is the thing that Buster Posey has said since he's been in the job? Pitching, defense, timely hitting. That's what he said in the draft and in the trade deadline. He went out there and he got guys who matched some of that. So I think that's what we can kind of expect. And the Giants got a shit ton of money, guys. They got a shit ton of money. $160 committed. That's it. Or I should say $160 million committed for 2026. They got a lot of money that they could spend. And I got a feeling they're going to go get a pitcher or two. And then we'll see what they do as far as position players. So, yes, you kind of got your core. Your core is going to be Chapman, Adames, and Devers. That's your core. There's Jung Hoo Lee, right?
Yeah. There's 2 guys that will most likely be back, but they better have different roles next year. And that's Patrick Bailey and Ryan Walker. Bailey needs to be the backup, in my opinion, or split it 50-50 and bat from the left side only. Give up on the right-handed hitting and just say, you know what? I'm going to just master one side. That way, when I do batting practice, I don't have to do both sides. I'm just going to say
master.
Well, master and how about get to 230, Pat?
Okay.
230, 235, hit left-handed, practice your bunting skills, and because you should be sacrificing a lot when you go up there if there's runners on base. Let's get and Ryan Walker, sorry, 6th inning guy. That's it. 6th inning. I don't want to see that guy ever again close a game.
Okay. Now, look, you could go get a reliever maybe. There's not very many. There's a couple of guys that are probably going to be opting out.
Have you looked at the closers coming up in free agency?
We did.
Not very many.
Robert Suarez of the Padres.
If he opts out. If he opts out.
He's having a great year. He's opting out.
Yeah, of course he is. I would go after him. Look, and how about this?
Jansen, he's old, but he's having a great year.
He is. What about Peguero? Are you liking what you're seeing from Peguero? Or not so much?
He's what is it, how isn't he like? Did it take him 10 years? Took
him a while. Took him a while.
Okay, there's a reason. There's always a reason.
I get it. No, I get it. But I mean, maybe he could be
good.
More
he looks
a 6th
good
inning guy, a 6 or 7 maybe.
He looks good, and I'm fine with him being in there. But I'm not making a guy that took 8-10 years just to get to the big leagues to be a closer, because generally there's a reason why you didn't get to the big leagues, and I think it's command, and you can't have if he finds his command. Rodriguez used to have the same trouble, command.
Yeah, he did.
So
that was his issue.
Maybe he can work that, but I want to go get me a real legitimate closer. Get me a Kenley Jansen, a Robert Suarez. There was a couple other ones that were
Edwin Diaz
can opt out. Yeah, he can opt out.
What are we going to do the rest of this year?
Yeah, this year
Forget about the agency. What are we going to do the last 19 games?
Great question. Who's your 9th inning guy? Do you is it? I guess it's still going to be.
I'd go with Koss. I'd go with Christian Koss.
Yeah. No, Blue, you're spot on. Who do you rely on? Who do you got? If you're the manager of the Giants, who do you lean on in that bullpen to close out the game? It might have to, it might be situational. If it's a bunch of lefties, you might have to throw out Gage and Luke Casey. If it's a righty, maybe it has to be Peguero. I mean, because Ryan Walker. Hey, how about this? How about you win by more than 3 every game? How about that, Lou? Don't worry about a save. Let's just outslug them. Yeah, it's a tall.
But this sounds like Farhan baseball you're talking about then, Eric, where you're trying let's plug this guy in and hope. And that word always comes up, hope. And maybe.
Here's the problem.
They don't have their man. It's a flawed lineup, like I said.
You traded Rogers, you traded Doval, right? And Rodriguez's arm blew up. So this is it. This is the burning ashes of the bullpen currently constructed. So that's all you really can do is trying to piece it together for the rest of the season. No, Lou, but that's a great question, because what if the Giants do make a run, right? And they lose it because of 9th inning meltdowns? That would just be brutal.
Well, Lou, wait a sec. Lou, you bring that up. So I had asked Eric, we had a brief chat last night about it. You probably saw it. Do you think we understand the reasoning why Buster made the moves with the bullpen at the trade deadline? Do you think deep down inside, Buster Posey at that point had said, we ain't going nowhere. This has to be done? Because now it could be, as Eric said, the thing that haunts them.
Yeah, I think, again, you never know a guy's going to go under, but, Dan brought up a great point. We had a closer that we knew couldn't go back-to-back days. And again, this might be under one of these things where maybe our GM, who's, again, first year, a lot of people only give Buster crap, but our GM, this is his first year too. So maybe, usually it's depth, and it came back to really haunt the Giants. I mean, obviously you don't think your closer is going to need Tommy John, but here's the fact. He's gone this year and he's gone next year. And you also got to remember, you traded your 8th inning guy figuring you didn't have a shot, but they had a shot, but you don't have your 7th, 8th, and 9th inning man now. So the Giants are flawed, and I think it's more of that, hey, we're learning on the rebound, but you got to blame the GM and you got to blame Buster. You got 2 guys you got to blame because it's their first year. They'll never, ever, it won't be a slap on the wrist. Oh, well, we tried to get something, and, it goes back to what Dan said 6 months ago. Giants are in the same lane, the same thing. We're going to be right around 500, and they don't know what to do because they're not going to rebuild. But now you have 4 fat contracts. Who are they going to get? I saw somebody in the chat brought up a great point. We're talking about great relievers, but the Dodgers are going to need a reliever. If the Diaz leaves the Mets, they're going to need a reliever. These other teams, and I think what we got to start thinking of, and, bring up Verlander. Does Verlander want to come back and play here? Yeah, it's a great ballpark. But with him right now, it's not really. It's all about getting wins so he can hit that stature. And these other relievers, do you want to go and play for an offense like the Mets, where you got a chance to go to the World Series every year? Remember, we're just happy we're competing for a third wild card. Do you want to play in San Diego where every game's sold out, where they have a great offense behind you? So I know what we want. Us getting a good reliever, it's going to be tough. It's just like us getting a power hitter. We can wish, but we got to also face reality.
If they don't have enough depth in those positions, you got to go out. Eric and I were talking last night too about, we thought the pitching was great. We thought, pitching was pretty good, wasn't it, Eric? But all of a sudden now, we saw it today, it's not that good. You've got 2.5 to 3.
Why didn't the Giants try to go after Buehler? I mean, he got released from Boston. Somebody else picked him up. I mean, who did he get released from? And then Boston signed him. Yeah. I mean, he got picked up right away. The Giants knew they didn't have a 4th and 5th starter. Why didn't they go after him? I think that contract was only $3.6 million for the last 6 weeks. That's where good teams do. You need an arm. The guy has experience and playoff experience. So.
I know Lou is Mr. Salty. He's the guy who's always Mr. Salty. But, when we have these conversations night after night after night after night, it's a long season doing this, isn't it, guys? When you look at the meat and potatoes of this ball club, if we got to the postseason, just think back to 2016. 2016, Chicago Cubs. They were looking for peanut vendors who could get an out in the 9th inning of games against that 4th game against the Cubs. It didn't matter. If they didn't fill the holes they needed to fill, even if we sneak in, I think it's a moot.
And they did sneak in 2016. If you remember, they had the worst record the second half of the season.
Yeah, it was horrible.
And they competed against the Cubs in that series. They would have
won Game 5.
They didn't fill. They needed a bullpen help, and the
9th inning, 8 guys came to bat. They got 6 hits. It was over. The series was done.
You know what it reminded me of? That Dodger game 2 nights ago reminded me of that last game in 2016 against the
Cueto started game 1, and I remember hearing the manager
game 5 in Chicago.
The manager said, "Oh my God, if we had to face him in game 5, I was worried."
I love this. Remember his quote? "You ain't got the coconuts," or something like that. "You ain't got the coconuts." That was great.
Hey, how fast was Teng's fastball? What's as high as he gets?
I've seen him get up to 97. If I'm not mistaken.
Not a big strikeout guy.
But. All right, 97. But he's got a really nice curveball. He's got a decent changeup. And if
I think he's a good number 5, but that's it.
What happens if you tried to make this dude a closer?
Yeah. I
mean, experiment. Get creative in the offseason. Use one of these starters that's not really a real starter. And see if you can somebody that's doesn't seem to get rattled. He doesn't seem to get too rattled. Teng seems like he's got a even keel personality. I don't know if he, for 1 inning, a guy should be able to let it go for 97, 98, and you mix it in with I'm not saying he might be a terrible choice, but start working with guys. He's not who
I was thinking of? I was thinking of Birdsong, but boy, he is not.
I was thinking of Birdsong too. He'd be great, but he can't get the ball over the plate.
But Dan, they also got a legit. What's the word? Make it legitimate. Whether they're going for the playoffs or this September is what you're talking about. Off-season stuff. They got to decide now. And each September rolls around. It was evident last year, wasn't it, Eric? We wanted to see Matos. We wanted to see young guys. We want to see young pitchers. Oh no, we'll continue to make a run here. You know what? You got to sometimes admit defeat and prepare. Prepare now for next year if you want to be successful.
Sure they are. On the Vince Posey brought up, and I know we're talking about next year. Devin Williams, would you take a flyer on him?
Or would you say be a situation where he's just having problems because he's in New York? He was great in Milwaukee, but he's awful right now. He's awful with the Yankees, and I don't know if it's because he's not cut out for New York, because he's a different pitcher than he was with the Brewers. So I don't know. I might take a shot on him. But they've got to, when I look at their 40-man roster coming up for next year, they're going to have to trim it, because there's going to be other guys that are going to have to come on. And I'm thinking of guys that they are giving up on. It sounds like to me they're giving up on guys like
Luciano.
Mason Black. Do you want to see Mason Black here? I don't know if I would give up on Luciano just because he's only 23. I sure wouldn't want to give him up and then see this guy go become George Foster.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do anything like that, but this guy hit the ball over 500 feet last week. Not too many guys hit the ball over 500 feet, let alone they're 23 years old. I'm just saying, some guys take a while. Ramos took over 700 at bats to get it going in AAA, where he finally figured, hey, I belong in the majors. I can do this. Luciano just hit about 700 at bats. He's coming up on that. I don't even know if he's made it yet to 700, but he's only 23. Let's kind of remember that. It's hard to find guys that can hit. But
he also doesn't have a very good, his average and his strikeouts. I mean, what do you think it's going to do when he gets to the major leagues? You're talking about facing pitchers in AAA who, when you face any given team, how many of those pitchers that you're going to face are going to be in the major leagues? A couple, right? You see what I'm saying? So you got to look at what the competition is. And don't get me wrong, Luciano, he's shown it at the MLB level to a certain extent.
They're going to have to make some moves next year, because look at the guys that are on their 40 that haven't even tasted the big leagues this year. Mason Black in the pitching. Everybody else has made it up. Keaton Wynn, he really hasn't been. I think he played a little bit or something. But
he played pitching.
Keaton Wynn. Andrew Kinzer, the catcher. Okay, I mean, I don't know. I guess whatever. You always got to have somebody as backup catchers on your 40. But Brett Wisely. Okay, do we really need Brett Wisely anymore? Gerard Encarnacion. Where's he going to play next year if Eldridge is up and you got Devers and you got? I mean, and
he's out of options.
Yeah, Wade Meckler. Is he gonna? Are they just going to hang this guy around?
Wisely.
Grant McCray. What are you going to do with Grant McCray? Are you going to try to trade this guy? Or are you going to just let him continue to strike out? And hey,
let him strike out for somebody else, Dan.
By the way, I've been calling him Grant McKay, right? And I'm listening to Alex Pavlovic and Cole Kuiper, and Alex Pavlovic says Grant McKay.
Did he really?
Yeah, he quickly corrected it, but I thought that was pretty funny.
Somebody said in the show earlier, and it might have come from the chat, isn't one of the problems with this organization the fact that we chase these September runs that maybe really don't exist? I think we've run out of time already, and this shorts them for seeing guys like that play in September. Why aren't you giving Luciano 3 weeks to major league level now? Right now. Oh, it's because we're trying to sneak in. We're trying to, win 16 and 19 games. Come on. I think
who would you rather see? Luciano, Matos, or Gilbert?
Luciano.
All three. I want to see
Luciano play.
That's the problem. You can't see all of them.
You got to see Luciano. If you're talking about his future, our future, the future, you got to know what Luciano is and then do something with him. The fact you're not doing anything with him to find out, it's just.
Would you take out bats away from Matos for Luciano?
Yeah. I would say yes.
You know what I would do?
You already know what you've got from him. You know what
I would do? I would do Luciano, and if I don't know if you want to put him at DH, but if you want to put him in the field, put him in left field, put Matos or put Gilbert in center and Matos in right, and play those three guys for the, especially if they lose a couple more. Let's see what 12 to 14 games looks like with all three of those guys in the outfield. Ramos, you can put at DH, or Lee. Those guys can afford to sit. They're coming back, most likely, unless they traded one of them. They could. I could see them making a move of trading a Ramos or a Lee if they really liked Gilbert. But Luciano, if nothing else, you might showcase him for a trade because you're not getting much for him now. So he's not going to lose value. If he stinks, it's not like, oh, shoot, we just lost value on Marco Luciano. No, but what happens if the guy comes up and plays 14 games and hits 3-4 home runs? And all of a sudden you go, shoot, this guy can mash. So they got issues, but they need to, and I don't really know what the best solution is because they waited too long to see what they have in Matos. He starts hitting. Now they bench him. Didn't he bench today? Wasn't he benched?
Who?
Matos?
Yeah, he didn't play today.
Yeah. See, he plays and he plays and he hits and he hits and he hits, and then they sit him. And then he comes up, plays the game, then they sit him. I mean, you got to have a hole in your head to think this way. I mean, I don't understand.
Played yesterday. Have you noticed what they've been doing? There's times where they're spelling either Ramos or Lee, and they get both Matos and Gilbert in the lineup. They've been doing that quite often for a while. But we'll see what happens.
Here's a question: chasing shadows, though. There's no, you never know. And doesn't it to you guys seem like it's back to that back when we used to talk about Farhan, where the players would show up at the locker room to see, hey, am I in the lineup today? I don't know what's going on here. It's a free for all, is what it is.
Here's something. I'm about to touch the third rail here. Yeah,
big boy.
What do we do? I shouldn't say we. What do the Giants do with young Bryce Eldridge? He's not going to come up, but what is the future for him? Do you see him being a future? Lou, you haven't said anything in a while. Do you see him as a first baseman, an outfielder, or a DH? The kid's only 20, going to be 21 here soon. What do you foresee? Do you see the Giants holding on to him? Do you see him maybe trading him, or is he going to be part of the future?
Well, I saw him live twice up in Reno, and it was not a pretty sight. One game he got a double, struck out 3 times. The next game he struck out 4 times. I don't think he'll play first base because of Devers. I think Devers right now, until he's gone, they'll always do what he wants. So I think he's locked in at first. I think what the Giants are going to do this offseason is have him maybe play a little bit and try a different position. Maybe right field, since we need a right fielder. I think, learning from Devers where he says he needs to play. Eldridge, if you just DH him, you're going to have a problem where, he's going to be going against the best of the best pitchers. Say he has one of these games where he strikes out 3 times. When you strike out and you're a DH, you sit there and you wait. I know he needs time, but it's sort of a scary proposition, where if you have a young kid and he's struggling, especially early in the season, DHing, especially learning from Devers, I think is really tough. I think he might just, because of the Devers trade, he's going to need to learn a new position. Now, early in the year when me and Dan were talking about him, they said he originally wanted to be an outfielder. But I don't think he's been playing for the Sac Cats.
He hasn't.
So it's going to be
first
one of those
base
things.
Every time.
Yeah. So, you're going to have to think, what are you going to do? Now, if the Giants maybe – I sort of wish the Giants didn't go through this because then you could have maybe sat Devers, maybe put Devers to third, and maybe could have played 2 games, at first, and DH him when you move Devers. But now, you're sort of at the point where, and it's not a problem because Eldridge still is young, but,
yeah,
I'm thinking.
You can stay in the minors.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Probably for him, the best thing is there's no pressure. If he's struggling average wise and a lot of strikeouts in AAA, imagine coming up to the majors.
Right.
When these games are important and the pressure's on you. And you got to remember the one thing about Devers, maybe he was really struggling, is all eyes were on him like he was a savior. That's a lot of pressure. I know the first couple of months we were saying, well, he's never been in Boston, all this. Same thing maybe with Adames. Maybe I was too hard on Adames because everyone thought, oh my God, we signed him. He's obviously going to be a 300 hitter. Boom. You'll notice the Giants played well when there was no pressure. Nobody was talking about the third wild card. You had the young kid come in the trade where, it looked like he was an 18-year-old kid and he just got called up and he was loving life, So it's, I just think with Eldridge, I don't think there's a wrong answer with him, but I am glad they haven't bought him up yet because you're getting a chance to see other guys that probably deserve the position. But once the season's over, they're going to have to come up with some tough decisions. What are you going to do with Eldridge? Is another year in the minors, is that good enough for him? Or maybe just to start the season, see how it works, and then bring him up. But eventually, you're going to have to come up with some decisions. Maybe, you guys just talked about 6, 7 players. I think all those guys are all dead wood. I don't want to see him back. I don't think they make the Giants better. Then you know what? Then if you're going to do that, DFA him. No one's going to want him in a trade. Okay? Just get rid of them and get fresh, younger, or other guys in there because the people we have right now aren't taking us to the next level. I'd rather than you get rid of some of these guys and you give Eldridge a shot. But right now, when you have 3 or 4 other guys, I think the best thing is just let Eldridge. And again, if you ever notice the one thing, everything's safe. Well, he's young, so we're going to keep him in the minors. We had to do this because of his age. We have to do this because of this. One of the things that really disappoints me, and I hope the Giants don't do this, is I don't know if you guys are aware of, but in the National League, do you guys know how many guys are hitting over 300?
1 or 2.
One.
Yeah.
So I don't want the Giants and their morons who run the team to say, well, it's not really about average. Okay. Well, if it's not about average, obviously we should be doing better with guys, averaging 225, 230, 240. That's what they see. But, when you're a fan, you need guys who can put the ball in play. We just said how we live and die by the home run ball. But when the home run's not there, you got to be able to score a different way. One of the things, too, about us going through that 18-game hitting streak, it always seemed like some of the good guys, Adames, Chapman, they ran the bases good. They got walks. They had sacrifice flies. They did the little things. But if you don't do the little things, nothing else really matters. And that's where, it's with no pressure, anybody can perform. But when the pressure's on the line, those are the guys that are going to make us a playoff team or just like every other year, we're right around 500.
That's a good point.
We got 3 guys. 3 guys that hit over 260 on the team. That's Jung Hoo Lee, who's hitting 267. Elliot Ramos is hitting 267, and Dom Smith 292. The rest are all under 240, except Wilmer comes in at 244, and I guess Gilbert. I don't know.
Devers 263.
Oh, Devers, that's right. Devers, I'm sorry. Devers 263. So you got 4 guys, but everybody else is really below 240 that plays regularly, and you can't count Gilbert in there because it's not
small
enough
sample.
at-bats. So it's
and here's the question: is the way Bryce Eldridge is, and look, he's young, he's 20 years old, and maybe he develops into a better hitter. But where do you see him? He seems like one of these typical guys that's going to come up and maybe bat 230, 240, may have a bunch of power, could hit 30 bombs, right? But he's going to strike out 180 times. Is that something that is that? Does that something that Buster Posey would value, or do you think he would try to move on? And look, I'm not saying whether I agree or disagree with trading him. I'm just saying to get that player that you want, as far as what Lou was talking about, would you trade him to get that 280 hitter? Which, I mean, I don't even know how many 280 hitters are out there in the MLB right now, but would you go out there and get a guy that kind of falls in the line of what Buster Posey is looking to do? Or maybe you get a pitcher. Usually that's kind of what you do, right? With a position player, you usually go get an arm somewhere. So
you better get a haul. You better get enough players. If you
absolutely
Eldridge, you better be getting 2 to 3 players that can contribute to your major league roster, because they trade Eldridge and he becomes an MVP of the game, the league, which he has that kind of potential in him if he puts it all together. He's 20 years old, right?
He's still 20. It. He's still young. He's a baby, man.
I mean, with the strike or lockout or whatever you want to call it in 2027 looming, I'm not so sure if I want to sit Eldridge all year in the minors next year, because if he doesn't get up to the big leagues and then they have a lockout and they don't play half the season in 27,
That's
it's
fair.
going to be 22, 23 before he, and that's still young, but he's your stud. He's your guy that has the persona to carry himself. You know, we've seen him on some highlights.
Sure.
And we see him. I mean, we've seen him talk, you know, to senior son, and he just carries himself as somebody has stardom all over him. So I think you've got to make sure that you don't.
Oh, absolutely. And
don't
to your point, 20 years old, right? So you don't have to bring up. There is nothing that says Bryce Eldridge has to play in 2026. There's nothing that says that. You don't have to do that.
Right. And there's also nothing that says that if he does play, that he's going to be, you got to expect that he's going to struggle. You can't have him come up and say, okay, we're pinning it all on Eldridge.
Right.
I don't think you are now with Devers.
Correct.
I mean, that's one of the pluses of having a guy like Devers. You don't have to put, I mean, imagine if you didn't have Devers, you'd be waiting on Eldridge and he would be like, oh, we need Eldridge. We need Eldridge. We need Eldridge. It would be, and he'd be coming up and it's like the weight of the world would be on him.
And you know what, to your point, if the Giants did not trade for Devers, I think we would have already seen Eldridge.
Probably.
And how he would have performed, we don't know, because that didn't happen. But that Devers trade definitely but the thing is, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the Giants, and it's a good thing for Eldridge because it gives him a time to settle in and figure things out, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, how much professional time has he had? High school is the most playing time that he's ever had. He's now had 2 years of professional ball with the minor leagues last year and the minor leagues this year. Prior to that, he had no college experience. It's all high school. So, yeah, I'm willing to give the kid, some time to figure some things out. Why not?
Eric, the simple reason why I feel that he is not going to be traded, there are probably two. Dan touched on one. The good teams, the teams that become World Series contenders, they have youth that grows. So if a team goes out and gets that young player and he becomes the player that people think he will be, there's a big, big, big loss, big mistake. And number two, all I've heard from media, not only in San Francisco, but probably every other city that I listen to, like Boston, WEEI, and New York, WFAN, all of the other GMs, and Buster Posey. What is the one name that comes up in trade talks? Well, we'll work out a deal with the Giants, but the first guy on the list is always who? So if every other team in baseball wants him, then why should the Giants be trading him?
Good point.
I just want to say one thing about that, Glenn. Who else on the Giants, what other teams want? With
Exactly. You mentioned the word
except for Devers.
DFA
You take
earlier.
Devers out. Do you want Adames in his contract? Would you trade for him?
No. You know who they're going to ask for? They're going to be asking for Bo Davidson, Dakota Jordan. Those guys may have a future here.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just saying those are the only, everybody wants youth because they don't want to be stuck with guys 34, 35 for another 4 years. That's the only reason why everyone asks about Eldridge. I don't think they're asking about any of these young guys. I don't think they're asking for anybody.
Right.
Why
they want the youth. They want the youth.
And for once with the San Francisco, in my lifetime anyway, for once with the San Francisco Giants not have to go out and trade and not have to go out and do off-season moves, could they not just build a nice competitive ball club? They're always just chasing, and I just want them to.
Well, there's different ways you could build the club, right? There's a different. I've talked about it ad nauseum. You could do it through the draft. You could do it.
We picked up free agents. Now we traded for Devers. Eric, we're still not competitive. So
yeah. Look. The cupboards were bare, so to speak, when Buster.
I think they're still pretty bare.
I mean, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the dominant Dodgers. How many young guys they got playing on their team? Not very many. You know why? Because they trade Pages. That's it. Who else have they developed? Will Smith and Pages. Everyone else has either been bought or traded for.
Well, they
That's
have a
it.
different philosophy. They make trades, but they go out and get young. They got Mookie Betts, Eric, in a trade.
That
What do
was
they
a young
do?
though.
They gave up
They
young
used
guys.
to.
They
Yes.
gave up young
Yes.
guys
Yes.
because
that's
they got
okay.
a hell of a better scouting staff and minor league system than we will ever dream to have.
Well, that's something.
They can do that.
Right. But I'm just saying that there's different ways you could build a team. That's all I'm trying to say. There's
And you have
different
to
ways
live in
you could-
reality, which is always the problem of the Giants fans. I saw way up in the chat, and somebody was saying, there are teams out there who trade right now for Kei Wei Teng. I'm like, come on. Don't get caught up in recency bias, as we like to say, right, Eric? Kei Wei Teng is not on everybody's trade list this offseason.
Have you guys, speaking of farm systems, have you guys seen this
Oh, yeah. The newest one.
month ago?
We
Yeah,
did
I
it a
think-
while ago, but I haven't seen the recent
Who
one.
do you think's on top?
Oh,
Padres?
White Sox. Oh, Dodgers.
There you go.
'Cause I
Who
know
was
the
it?
White
I
Sox
can't remember.
have-
Padres are
I can't remember off
last.
the top who it was. I think it's
And
the
Dan,
Dodgers
I
again.
just said they trade away pretty much their entire minor league system, but are
Yep.
still at the top.
Yeah, because
Like-
they keep developing.
It is a revolving
I-
door of
I
talent.
almost think there's like some kind of
I think it's
Do you think there's a collusion going on?
I
'Cause
think
I've heard
there's
a lot
some
of
kind
that.
of I think there's some kind of like between ESPN and Major League Baseball and LA, and how are the Dodgers always on top, and then these prospects magically get traded for superstars, and what do happen? Where do these prospects ever do? They get traded.
Right.
Can you give me a prospect that has been
Nope.
great? I mean, maybe Michael Bush is the best one in the
Michael
last
Bush is
5 years.
Right.
And he's-
That's about it.
And he's not no star. He's
Nope.
good, but he's not like, I mean, you're talking Jeter Downs and Alex Verdugo for Mookie Betts. How did that pan out? Who was traded for Max Scherzer and Trey Turner
Mm-hmm.
to the Nationals? Do we know of any of those guys that have done anything good?
The only ones that have done anything good have been the Padre prospects that went to Washington for Juan Soto. Mackenzie Gore,
Yeah.
C.J. Abrams, right? James
Big
Woods.
Yeah,
That's it.
Jordan
Dodgers,
Alvarez
no.
was not traded by. I think he was he a Rule 5 or not a Rule 5, or they let him go, or maybe he was in a deal, small deal, but they
Keibert
haven't.
Ruiz and Jose
Josiah Gray. Yeah, how have they done? Come on, Keibert Ruiz. He's like a mid-level catcher. Nobody's, is even on anybody's fantasy team. Forget it. No one wants guys like this. And
But I don't
yet they
understand
continually, he's a Dodgers top prospect. I swear, it feels like there's some kind of deal that they've got this pipeline with baseball, because everybody talks about the Dodgers, and it's just, baseball has made LA the center, the capital of everything. I mean, New York, Yankees, and the Dodgers, but everything seems to filter right around the Dodgers. ESPN's right there in Hollywood, right there in LA now. I don't know. I'm probably, blowing smoke, but it just, I get tired of the hype of the prospects. This is what the Giants need to do. They need to develop a lot of prospects. The only prospects that I've ever heard that really panned out in a trade was the Nationals, getting that haul of James Wood and C.J. Abrams and Mackenzie Gore and Robert Hassel, and but Washington's still, the last I looked, right there in the bottom of the league still.
Bunch of young guys, right?
Yeah, but Dan, we've gone full circle in the last 45 minutes. We've gone a complete full circle and done a 360. We're back to play Luciano and play these young guys in September. So we know where we are, which side of the fence. You either DFA them, you make them like superstars in September and go, hey, look what we can dangle. Look what we got. And people are interested. We don't know. They don't know what they got every year. So how can they trade any of these guys when nobody knows? They have no value by not playing. They have no, if they play and they suck, they got no value. Well, they certainly have no value now until they play and they show success, and then teams will want them. I don't understand the philosophy of the Giants in the month of September, and I never will.
Yeah. I mean, the
Chasing
whole,
a dream, Dan.
yeah. I think
Look
these prospects is if I can trade prospects for proven players, I'm going to do it almost all the time. Because who said it? Was it Gary Radnich or somebody else? Prospects or suspects?
I think that was Dave Henderson. I think was
Dave
famous.
Henderson. Yeah, prospects or suspects until proven otherwise.
Yeah.
I mean, how many? Yeah, every now and then there's some great prospects that really hit it, but I don't
More
know.
times than not so much. I mean, that's
Nope.
that's just the law of averages with baseball, right?
Yeah,
I like
that's
Dom.
what-
I like how he brings up the Dodgers and Ohtani and then talking about betting. I like it.
You're
I kind of like that, Dom. I hear what you're saying.
Insane
Stop
Sports
what you're
Take had said, Dodgers, did they develop Otani, Freeman, Betts, Snell, Glasnow, Yaku? Most of the guys in his list, they did.
No, they haven't.
signed them
Yes.
because they spent money. There's number one. We don't spend the money like the Dodgers. And second of all, when they give up prospects, people are calling and saying, yeah, we'll trade you Mookie Betts, and this is what we want. Good, bad, it might not work out, but we'll roll the dice. Nobody's rolling the dice on our prospects. You agree, Lou? Nobody's willing to roll the dice on our minor league system.
That's why I'm a little bit worried about Eldridge, because in the last 10 years, give me one guy from the farm system that's actually been good.
So the law of averages say I'm keeping him. And the fact that everybody else wants him. I just think if everybody wants him, there's got to be something to him. Eric's going to warm up the coffee. There we go.
I'm just saying, I mean, you look, I mean, we've heard more things about people. I'm just hoping he's maybe a step above a Brandon Belt, good defensively and can hit. It's hard to believe that, the Giants are going to get some superstar. I mean, they're making him like he's almost as good as like a Chili Davis, Will Clark, all combo. It's like, I just because of our reputation, I'm a little bit worried, and it's one of those things, when you think this guy's great, we'll see. It's just one of those things. I mean, we've heard the names. I mean, we still have guys in the farm system that you go, he's still in the farm system? Are you kidding me? And except for, Joey Bard, who, we traded, a lot of these other guys, are still stuck, between second, double A, triple A, haven't made it yet. And these other guys that come up, I don't want them on the pro team. It's just one of those things. I think the thing we're missing out about the Dodgers is how many championships have the Giants won? Single A, double A, rookie ball, anything. Dodgers are always been consistent. I mean, growing up, when they played in Albuquerque, which was a triple A, they were so good. They always won it. And, when you go back to the Dodgers with Say, Russell, Lopes, and Garvey, that was all guys from AAA.
Maybe we shouldn't be trading for players, Lou. Maybe we should be trading for scouts.
I think that's
maybe we should be
step in the
signing
right
other
direction.
team scouts.
I think we have a lot of problems. I think, our front office, not just Buster and our GM, I think a lot of these guys are problems because they haven't done anything. Our drafts have been horrible. Just look, I think me and Dan did this. Look at the top, say 3 picks of the last 10 drafts, how many guys have actually made it. And then look at the teams that are playoff teams now that have the exact same 10 years in their top 3 and see where they are. It's just one of those things. We've been really going through a big dry spell.
Eric, if I owned the San Francisco Giants, and I mean, I was the guy, when you have 30 owners, it's a weird situation. But if you were the guy who calls the shots, and it was me, what I would be doing is I would be looking at the Dodgers, Tampa, and Miami. And I would say to you, Eric, you're my GM. You go out in the offseason and you hire me their best assets from their minor league system and their scouts. Because they're obviously, and people will say, yeah, but, and I hate this when I'm at the basketball games. So they go, I wouldn't want her. Somebody said to me, I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you this off air, Eric? I'm having an argument with the girl at the basketball game the other night. I said, she's going on about who we should get. And I go, listen, Obviously, if you want to win, you got to have Caitlin Clark. I mean, if she's first on your list. Oh, no, I never want her on the team. What has she won? I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? So the what have you won? They'll say Tampa hasn't won. Miami has won one World Series. They trade them all. They're in poor markets. They're poor market teams. They got to move off their players. But look at the talent that comes out of Miami and Tampa and LA. They're able to make moves because they got the right. I think they got the right pieces, not player wise. They got the right management positions and scouts, and you know what I mean. They have filled their team admirably to get the best talent.
You know what?
Are we getting the best talent available?
No, look, it's 1 year under Posey, so let's find out. You're gonna have to. It's gonna take a few drafts. Didn't
they fire all their scouts just a year ago, Eric? Or
they fired a bunch of them. Farhan did, yeah. Farhan fired a bunch of them. Here's a question.
Probably the best.
I'm gonna ask you. We're talking about winning. Who do you guys see as like the front runner in winning it all this year? What team has the pitching and the hitting, all of it? It doesn't seem. How many teams out there really got the rotation that's going to take them to distance? You got Philly, who lost
Zach Wheeler, yeah.
Zach Wheeler. You got Milwaukee. I guess they got a few guys, right? Dodgers. I mean, you got Yamamoto, but after that, I mean, who else are they really leaning on? I don't know. The Padres. Well, who is the team out there that's gonna?
I think
that looks like
finals are a long shot off top, and we'll go around if Dan wants to give in. And Lou, Cubs and Mariners.
Well,
and I like the Blue Jays too.
Yeah, Blue Jays I like too. Yeah,
because Dan, the Blue Jays get the bat on the ball.
Yeah, I'm gonna change character here.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna go into a little bit of.
Long as it doesn't involve
a pillow,
a checkered shirt and a pillow.
I'm gonna go into some.
Hey, we look alike.
Oh shit! Right. Oh, we all look alike now.
I'm Robert.
My God. We're not the same thing. What the hell's going on here, man? Anyway, sorry.
Robert Rothberg here. I'm taking the Giants in the World Series this year. I'm never going to give up. And I think in the National League, it's wide open. Wide open. It's so hard to predict, right? Because if the Padres hadn't lost Adams, their reliever, they would be, in my opinion, the favorite, because you don't need great starting pitching. If you can just get to the fifth inning with a lead with that bullpen, they had enough guys to go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Harry Carey times 4. Yeah, you want those glasses back on here?
Man, if I took my glasses off,
listen. If somebody in the chat is talking about no other channels should be saying, let's get some runs than this right here. Harry.
That is such a good question, because in the American League, I do like Toronto because of their hitting.
What about their pitching, though? See what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you look at the Astros, they're a mix. I don't even know if the Mariners, I mean, they got a shot. They got great pitching, but they seem to choke in the last 2 weeks of the season every year, and they're right on the cusp again. Now, they have put it together the last couple of days in Atlanta, but it really is anybody's. It's a crapshoot. If you ask me who I think the favorites would be, and I hate saying this because I hope they lose in the first round, but the Dodgers seem to be a team that has taken this season as just kind of like it's 162 games. It's 6 months of boredom, and they're going to gear up, and it's like, okay, time to play real baseball. And they got a rotation. They can send out Yamamoto. They can send out Ohtani, Glasnow, and Snell. True. And they got Kershaw in the background. They are going to be so ready for the playoffs. And, they're not into this regular. Really, it's too long for them, and they're just coasting. And I got a feeling they're going to get ready, but I hope somebody knocks them off. I really
Who do you think could knock them off? You think Milwaukee
I
can knock
think
them off?
anybody can knock them off.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think this year this doesn't seem like they're the powerhouse that they were the last couple of years.
There was a hell of a series, wasn't there, last year, Eric? We were following in our post games. Padres. That would be another good series.
God, one game.
It was a good series.
One game, man.
The series of the Rumble, Eric. Series of the Rumble.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. Guys,
triple play to end it. Triple play.
I see a lot of
luck.
I think the Dodgers are not nearly as strong. Last year everything went well for them. But they just remind me of a team that looks like they just want to get ready for the playoffs. But anybody can beat them. Milwaukee, Chicago. I think the Mets would have a struggle in beating them because
pitching.
Mets pitching. I think San Diego could beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the Phillies can beat them.
How about this one? Do you think, listen to this one, because the Reds got some pitching. You think the Reds can handle the Dodgers?
Hunter Green's
back, and he tossed the gym today.
I know. Believe me.
I always like to see the Cinderella team. There's got to be one every year that kind of gets in.
Eric, you're not even talking about your team of 2024. They have the ace, the best pitcher, the best home record, the best overall record. They're going to be representing the American League if it's not.
Preach it, Lou. Preach it. He's talking Detroit Tigers.
Nope.
But who did they got after Tariq Skubal? By the way, that guy is just a machine. Did you hear? He's only had 8 losses in his last, 64 games? Some crazy. It's unbelievable. Anyways, who do they have in the rotation after Tariq Skubal? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know enough about the Detroit Tigers.
You were talking about that. I think it's going to be Detroit, Milwaukee, and it might be the least World Series of all time because you have two markets that
two small markets.
Are two small markets. Milwaukee, you guys got to remember throughout the year have been the best team. They're going to win probably the toughest division. They're going to have home field advantage. Now, I know the way that thing works. It's very strange. That's why I think between San Diego and Toronto, getting that home field advantage for teams like that, I know it's affected LA the last couple of years, but for teams like that, you need every advantage in the book. And, if you're going to have Skubal, where these other teams are going to have to use their aces just to try to get to that next round, and then you have Skubal, it's almost 1-0. You know what I mean? I just think it's that big of a, when you have a great pitcher like that. If you look around, none of these other pitchers really have an ace. Philadelphia doesn't have it. They lost theirs. The Dodgers, you're not really sure. They have more solid B guys. Toronto, they still got Gosman, who, at least has performed in the past. Milwaukee, they don't really, the young kid right now, no one seems to talk about how great he was. The Miz, that guy's like 1-6 with an ERA of like 12 since the All-Star break.
Had a great outing today, by the way.
So, I just think that's a big advantage because we're just talking about nobody's hitting. Toronto, trust me, I got Toronto to win the East. I'd love for them to see it. I think the best thing that could happen for Toronto is if they win it because their fans deserve it. You know how, like, when the Giants won it in 10, 12, and 14, the fans suffered. People don't realize, I know Toronto's won a World Series, but their fans are crazy.
Back to back.
Yeah. They're rabid, no doubt. And how about with Milwaukee? 1-1 for Uke. That kind of be, maybe that's what they're. Yeah, that would be a fun story, right? Dallas, I like what Dallas is saying. And you know what that reminds me of? The 2012 World Series. Remember when Detroit Tigers clinched and they clinched early.
Yeah.
And they had all this time to wait. And then they came in to face the Giants, and the Giants just ran roughshod over them. Again, because the Giants were in it. It was like a damn 7-game series, 5-game series, whatever.
Pablo, Justin Verlander, game 1.
Yeah, right?
You know what? We don't cheer for the Dodgers here, We don't cheer for the Dodgers, guys, but in respect for Dodger fans, I'm sure they're watching this saying, well, what do you want from us? Dodgers winning the division. Like, what should they have done what I said and win 130 games? Like, they're winning the division. They'll go to the playoffs. They'll do Dodger things and piss me off.
One thing with baseball, you got to keep playing. If you have any kind of lull, you lose something for whatever it
they
is.
have major injuries all
It's
year.
not like football,
they lost basically their whole pitching staff.
With football,
a lot of you guys
with having a day off.
Yeah, a lot of you guys in the chat, we're here talking. Look, we're Giants fans. It's Giants-based content, and we all hate the Dodgers, but because we show we run a show because if we just came out here and said we hate the Dodgers like all you guys did in the chat, said they suck. Let's get in reality, people. We're talking about a team loaded with superstars on the pitching staff and in the lineup. And, I see people saying, they hate the Dodgers. And look, we all do. But by me saying that, look out for the Dodgers and they are a team that has just kind of, fiddled through the regular season, doesn't mean I'm rooting for the Dodgers. Okay. I'm just telling you that watch out for the Dodgers. They haven't played well, but you've got to look at them going into the playoffs as the favorite. They're loaded with pitching. They're healthy, their staff. Yamamoto was 1 out away yesterday from a no-hitter. Snell's going to be at his top of the game. Glasnow's pitching well. Last year they won it with 2 pitchers. Now they've got 4 or 5. So what I'm trying to say is I don't want them to win, but the reality is you've got to figure them, even though they haven't played well, I can tell you what, every team that's going against them is going to try to knock them off like they're Goliath.
Right.
Dan's language. It's the guy who hates the Dodgers, passionately hates them, but he's got to have 4 in his fantasy league every year, right? Right, Dan? Right? So, and you know what? Everybody who tunes in that hates the Dodgers, they want to see, or loves the Giants is more like it, want to see Eric Rothberg and Lou Rothberg.
Get out of here
every night.
Get out of here, man. Come on, dude.
We got it. Hey, I call it calling a spade. Dan, I know you have your saying over there. You got to tell it like it is sometimes, whether people like it or not.
I do think that they can be had this year. I'm not saying
it can be.
I'm not saying they're going to win it. Believe me, I hope they don't. But I'm saying that every series that they play, they are going to be Goliath to the opponent. And everybody wants to knock them off. It's like UCLA basketball in the 60s and 70s. You won that game and it's like euphoria. That's what, but I only have 2 Dodgers on my team this year. And one of them sucks. I haven't played him in weeks. That's Teoscar Hernandez. I can't even get rid of him. I might just dump him sometime here soon. I don't know. Guy's been awful.
Guy had a hell of a year last year. This year,
yeah, he did. He did. So we'll see.
Eric and Lou always remain neutral. Dan and Glenn not always afraid to wave the flag. You got your 49er hat on. Brand new season. Mm-hmm. I'm going to the playoffs. I can't. This is the best time of the year too. You got the NBA coming up. WNBA's wrapping up. The football season started this weekend. Hockey training camp gets underway in about, I'd say a week. You got everything rolling right now. This is the best time of the year. NBA that and opening day in baseball. Right.
Yeah, you get to October, you got NBA, NHL, MLB playoffs.
Yeah.
And you got college football. And, of course, and then I think I said the NFL. Yeah. So you got everything rolling that time of year. But, well, I don't know.
We got to wrap it up soon before we piss.
Yeah, I think I'm
somebody
ready to
else
go.
off. Oh,
Yeah,
did you
I'm
get the
ready.
super chat, Eric? Your buddy posted a super chat. Didn't want to
Oh,
forget.
yeah. I don't think it's not our buddy because
It's your buddy. No, he's
he-
Dan's buddy now.
he can't post on ours. He has been exiled. Be
Yeah.
gone with you.
He's gone. We
I'll be
traded
attending
him to
a game
NorCal.
on September 10th versus the D.
Wednesday.
All right.
Wednesday's game.
There we go. What's your next game, Lou? What's your next game you're going to?
The Cardinals.
Not till the last week of the season.
I was going to go
that,
Wednesday.
I'm
going to reschedule.
I had the Willie Mays, the Mac Award tickets. I got 2 of the Cardinal games. I had the Dodger tickets for Friday night, but I got my company here, so I put them on StubHub for $750 each, and they sold.
All right. You mentioned you're going to the Willie Mack Friday night. Let's end it with this. Let's predict who we think is going to win the Willie Mack Award for the Giants.
Oh, that's easy.
Is it?
That one's easy.
Eric,
Easy.
check out Marquette. No, what a clown.
Who is it?
Willie
who is
Adames. Willie Adames wins it, 100%. It's going to be Willie Adames. The energy he brings all year, even when he wasn't doing well, he's been there thick and thin. It's going to be Willie Adames.
Oh boy, you should. I don't know if you should get it your very first year.
I bet you he is.
I've seen that have done it. All right, so Willie.
What is the Willie Mack? Isn't that for like the unsung hero on the team? Is voted
Most
by the
inspirational.
Most inspirational. It's going to be Willie Adames.
Drew Gilbert in a late run down the stretch. Drew Gilbert. No.
Yeah, earlier on in the season, my guy, of course, I had my guy up there, Wilmer.
Wilmer.
Comeback year, but I think it's got to be, if it's for that kind of a player, Adames is he's all of that and more.
It's going to be
All right.
Willie.
I'm going to look at the winners here real quick. I do not know if this guy has won it. And
Wilmer has won. When Wilmer win last year, we had
I
we
got
had
the
a guy
list.
we had a guy play 2 months and he won it. Kevin
I got
Pillar.
Yeah, I got the list right here. All right, the last.
Who plays 2 months?
I'm going to go. Okay,
Only in
from
San Francisco.
2015, it was Matt Duffy, Brandon Crawford shared it. In 16, no, that was Matt Duffy. 16, it was Crawford and Javi.
Yep.
17, Nick Hundley, Will Smith in 18, Pilar in 19, Yaz in 20, Lamont Wade in 21. That was his first year, so you guess you can win it in the first year.
Same thing with Nick Hundley.
Tyro Estrada, Matt Chapman. I'll tell you who I think is going to win it.
I think it's going to be Wilmer.
He already won it once, right? Yep, he won it in 22.
Yeah, I think Wilmer gets it
He could.
because it's always going. Look at that list of names you just read, Dan. Those that weren't even the top players. It's the player. It's the unsung hero is what I call it. It's the unsung hero.
It was before that. It was Bumgardner, Pence, Posey, Vogelsong, Torres.
Now you're
Kane,
talking.
Benji Molina, back-to-back years,
Benji.
07, 08.
Wow.
Omar Vizcal, Mike Matheny, JT Snow, Marquise Grissom, David Bell, Benito Santiago, and rounding out the last one, the first one to win it this century was Ellis Burks. So I'll tell you who I think is I'm going to take somebody different because Willie Adames, obvious. Somebody who I think is going to win it this year is Logan Webb.
That's fair.
He's never won it.
Eric called me the other day. Was it Friday, Eric? You got Kisner.
Yeah, Kisner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric's in on Kisner.
Dom Smith is a guy. Yeah.
Dom Smith. Yeah.
Dallas said Casey. Casey's been through a lot of hard aches with some injuries, and he
I've
bounced.
seen Dominic Smith now for a couple of months. For the first 2-3 weeks, it was he's a filler. Do you think he's actually all that? People are saying we got to bring him back. Oh my God,
got to bring him back.
I say he's gone in the offseason.
Who's your pick, Lou?
I have a tie.
Ooh.
Dominic Smith and Bailey.
Oh, Bailey! Come
Oh!
on! Wait a minute!
You guys are thinking of superstars and MVP.
Get this guy out of here! What are you talking about?
Bailey, they love his framing, how valuable he is.
No, you're right about that. You're right about that.
It's the most inspirational.
Can you give me that one more time? I don't believe what you said. Let me hear that again. Who is
here
it?
he goes. Here comes the sounder.
Dominic Smith.
All right,
and
I can
Bailey.
Let's check with the judges on that one, Dan.
Oh man.
Nope.
Bailey. If Bailey wins,
You got to remember the most dramatic play of the year this year was Bailey's inside the park home run.
That's fair.
And it's the players that vote, nobody else. That press,
That is
nothing.
true.
It's only the players.
It's only the players.
Eric, what do you think? We give NorCal, we give Dan and Lou a second chance at this. You know, I mean, take two.
I like Logan Webb. Hey, you know what? Logan Webb
think-
and Willie Adames could share it. They could share it.
I think Webb gets it this year. I think.
I don't think Webb gets it. 500 pitcher, Eric or Dan. He's a 500.
I think people will look.
You're doing that shit on purpose. Get out of here.
He's still a 500 pitcher. What's his record?
No, he's not. He's 13-9 or 14-9.
Yeah, we still got about 3 starts left in him. 500 pitcher.
You know what? Shit.
He hasn't won it yet, and he's been.
You know what?
He
could be in the running for the damn Cy Young, guys. Could be. Could be in the running.
What? On a team that's not going to make the playoffs, he's below 500. Not a chance.
Then it ain't gonna. Paul Skeens is even worse than the Giants as far as trying to get anywhere. He would be the next guy. He's probably the front runner, to be honest with you, in the National League.
It should be interesting. All right, let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's get out of here. It was fun, man. This is a good one. Good episode.
Where are we going to be a week from now, boys?
Oh, next the next hot corner is going to be something. It's going to be after the Dodger series.
Could be in
You're going to go back to that 90s song, Back to Reality? Back to life and back to reality, because I think it's closing in fast. I think it's too little too late.
Reality, back to
Lou, there we go. Taking us out of here.
I want to live it.
Lou, I'm out. I'm done.
All right, let's get out of here. We'll see you guys next Sunday.
Boys,
Let's go.
Lou. See you, Dan.
Hey, this is Luis Matos.